What are we doing now, Vern?
We're going to talk about another militia captain, Captain Isaac Davis.
Isaac Davis.
As we get into him, you'll associate here. He was at Concord when the British went up there. He was part of the militia that was up on the hill that then charged down to the bridge, Concord Bridge. But he was from Acton. And if you remember...
He wasn't even from Concord.
No, but there were lots of other villages around there that sent their militia.
Oh, yeah, if you got 4,000, I could understand that. Okay.
And so Samuel Prescott not only went to Concord, but he also went to Acton and alerted them. And so,
It's amazing. He kept on going. I love that. So Samuel Prescott comes to Acton, and Isaac Davis responds with his... Is he in charge of that militia?
He is kind of like Captain Parker was at Lexington. He's the captain there. Once again, appointed by the militia there. But his personality was such, I think we'd say he's a type A personality, that he wanted his militia to be very, very prepared. He was a gunsmith, okay?
Oh.
And so he wanted his militia to be as well prepared as a British regular. And so as a gunsmith, he was able to go in and take their muskets and prepare them for bayonets. And so his militia had bayonets, just like the British regulars. Okay?
Wow.
And he drilled them twice a week, all right? I don't know of any other militia that did that.
Yeah, wow. Well prepared and well trained.
Drilled, as well as in back of his house, he put a target range there, and so that they would practice and be able to shoot. And so they could march together.
Isaac
they
Davis.
would shoot. Isaac Davis does this.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's really taken it seriously. There is a possibility we will have to defend.
Yes. And so he is notified of this. He calls them together. One of the guys is saying, well, you know, maybe we're going to be killed by a redcoat. And he says, do not say things like this. This is serious business. He was a very committed Anglican, and he felt as though we don't make fun of this type of thing. We're talking about our lives here.
Whoa.
And so, you know, he put it, and he had not only the intensity, but character.
What character did he have?
He was loyal to his men, to his family. He did what was right.
So tell me about the beliefs of Isaac Davis.
Yes, he was a Puritan. Some equated to him as to be like Sam Adams.
Oh, he was a Puritan too?
Yes, or from that, you know, that background, that milieu there.
Now the Puritans are the ones who were like Plymouth Rock and that area?
Yes, and they developed into Congregationalists.
Okay.
There. Okay.
All right. So here he is, a Puritan, and one of his men starts making light about dying and killing, and he remonstrates him.
He does, rebukes him for taking light of what they were about to embark on.
So he was prepared for it, but he knew it was a dangerous situation. So what happens with Isaac Davis?
They get organized, they march out there to Concord, they go on the hill there, and
now there's 4,000.
And now they're building up there, and then the North Concord Bridge is being protected by 90 plus or minus regulars, and the main force is in Concord searching for the weapons there.
Okay, so 700 or 800 are inside Concord, searching house to house for weapons, and the bridge is being held to protect their back. And here's 4,000 up there watching that.
That keeps building up. And so in Concord, they do find some artillery carriages made of wood, and they start to burn that up, so that won't be available. But then the meeting house in which the town gets together, not only it's a religious place, but also their town meeting. So it's very important. It catches on fire. And so they, the militia sees the fire rising up, and somebody says, are we going to let them burn their town down? And so they march down. They put Isaac Davis in front.
Why?
Okay. Well,
tell me why.
Bayonets.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
you're the only ones who can show them that we are serious about that. So, and Isaac Hay accepts that?
Isaac Davis is in front. He and Colonel Burrick, as well as a couple of others, are up front, and they're leading, and they're getting within musket range of the Redcoats.
The 90 on the bridge, or the
90 on the bridge.
Oh, I bet the people on the bridge are a little nervous.
A little nervous. Initially, they were on one side of the bridge, and then when they started moving down, because things were on fire, they retreated to the other side of the bridge.
So they could be reinforced.
They were taking some of the planks up from the bridge, so they couldn't come across. But they're coming so quickly that when they get within musket range, and Davis and Buttrick and the others know they're within, and it takes a great deal of
Well, of course,
courage.
A gunsmith would know when you're no in range.
Yeah, and so he's putting himself right out there.
And he's not shooting yet. They're just moving.
And then a volley from the Redcoats. He gets hit in the chest, dies immediately, as well as a private was hit as well, and he died as well. But then a volley, and they're coming, and they're taken off at that point.
Does the militia fire back?
Oh yes. Once the volley comes through there, then another gentleman says, "Fire your weapons," and they do fire, and then
the British retreat.
They do. Yeah.
I would.
Sure.
4,000.
Yeah. No, but so Isaac.
And there's Isaac Davis, one of the first casualties at Concord.
Yes.
Or the first casualty.
Yeah. One of the first ones, the first officer to be killed. And so he was a man of high standards, high values, man of deep faith. Before he left Concord, as they were, Acton, as they were marching, he told his militia to stop, and he went back and told his wife, "Take care of the children." He had a premonition that he would die.
And then here's one of his guys laughing about it. Perhaps will die from a redcoat. And he's the one.
He had had this premonition for a while. And that's probably, you're right, why he rebuked the other fellow, because he felt that he was going to die.
And I'm leaving behind my wife and my children.
Take care of the children. He knew where he was going. He had that premonition.
And he still went.
And he still went, giving his last full measure of devotion. So once again, we see a quality that we've seen in several of the other characters. They were willing to give their life for the greater good, for the Republican value of putting others ahead of yourself. So that, at the bridge, if you go there, on the side of the bridge where he died, there is a monument. You can go online, punch it in there. It's a monument to Isaac Davis. There, it's worth it. And Sandy and I...
Did you see that monument?
Yeah, Sandy and I were there. I was dressed up as George. I was with John Adams. He was dressed up as John. And so we're there by the monument, and this guy comes over the bridge. He's pretty buff looking, short hair, backpack, and muscular, and he comes and says, are you Washington, George Washington? Well, yes. Yeah, can I get a picture with you? Well, yes. And on the back of his backpack is a little Ukrainian flag. And my wife noticed it and points it out, and I said, "Are you from Ukraine?" "Oh, yes." You know, we are going through many things that you have gone through, so I must come here to Lexington and Concord to where it all started.
Oh my goodness.
He was a military type meeting in D.C. and came all the way up here to go to this place because he identified it as what Ukraine is going through in their struggle against Russia.
Yeah. Did the actual George Washington ever visit that bridge?
Yes, during his first presidency, he went and visited the states north of.
And he went to Lexington and Concord?
He did. He visited there that year, and then the following year he went to the southern colonies there. There's a fella that.
So George Washington might have been pointed out, this is where Isaac.
It could. There wasn't a monument there at that time, so you're right. It's very possible. There's a fellow, Nathaniel Philbrick, that has written a book about his travels, both north and south. He also wrote a book about Bunker Hill. For anybody that likes a good read, Philbrick is a good one to do that. And Nathaniel, I'm plugging your book here. I've read both of them. Also, The Eye of the Storm talks about Yorktown, which is another. You know, those things can get pretty complicated, but he weaves a story and weaves the facts in. And so I've read 3 of his books.
I'm so glad that you, as George Washington, reenacted what the real George Washington did in honoring the sacrifice of our patriots at that bridge.
It is a total honor. Love doing it. I'm retired.
Yes, but you honored so much. Even that, I think even Isaac Davis would have said, "I'll take that."
They did so much, Tom. We all do what we can. Every 330 million of us Americans, let us do what we can. Mm-hmm. Let's take a step toward what they gave in a way to honor them. Mm-hmm. And then take another step.
Yes. Let's go to the next step.
Yeah. So that's Captain Isaac Davis.